All right. A lot's been going on, okay? And I'm just going to say this straight up again. This is like a hobby for me. I'm not trying to make it a full time job. So when life kicks up, I have more important things to tend to. So I try to get the stuff out for you folks. However, you know, this is a hobby. Now, as a hobby, I do not go on YouTube, Facebook, X, Grinder, whatever these uh, current public things are right now. All right, whatever the one is from China where they're having problems with trying to sell the company to an American-based group or whatever. I don't deal with any of that. The way that I figure this is if the people that watch this like it, then they will click the like button, they will subscribe, and so I can see how many people is coming and going, and occasionally leave a comment. All right, I have very thick skin. However, don't come in here with just trying to troll crap because I'll simply delete you and not say a word. All right, I got way too much more important things to do in my life than to deal with trolls. If you have creative, positive, constructive criticism, I'm all up for that, and I may even ask for feedback on how you would suggest accomplishing whatever. But again, I am not a professional. I do not do this as a job. It's what I do in my little bit of free time when I'm able to. Like today, the last 2 days, we've had nothing but rainy weather. I can't work with the bees. I can't mow the lawn. I can't work in the garden. So I'm doing this stuff. I'm trying to catch up on these videos. Enough said on that. The last 6 or 8 weeks has been really hectic. We've had a death in the immediate family, a death in the extended family, 2 funerals, no weddings, and my wife had a series of multiple micro strokes that put her in the hospital for 12 days in the intensive and cardiac wards, where they had to cut along the entire left side of her carotid artery, work on it, and then attach a piece of uh, cow heart or something to extend it because it had constricted too much and it was cutting the blood flow off to her brain. So, a lot of stuff goes on in life, and as we get older, even minor stuff can become major issues. Us old folks, it takes us longer to heal, longer to recover, and we never get back to that when I was 30 years old or 25, no matter how much I want to. So, enough said on that. If you like it, tell your friends, promote it. If not, then I don't need to hear the nasty trolling crap. Just go your own way and we'll call it even. So, onward. Today we're going to talk about Spore. Spore came out in 2008. They promoted it as a multiplayer game, so I wound up buying 2 full game packets, which eventually ended up being Spore, Spore Creature Creator, and Spore Galaxies. One for my nephew and one for me, or my godchild and myself, who's also my nephew, to play together because it said it was multiplayer. Come to find out, what it really was you could take any of your monsters or whatever that you created and share them online through their server, where they then gained the rights to all of that, so they could then, make new critters and stuff in the game using your work. But it was never truly a multiplayer game. Enough said on that. The game plays fairly well with mouse and keyboard. If you are getting it from Steam, be aware you are not buying the game. By their end user agreements, if you ever read the fine print, you're basically renting the game. You're not. You're renting the option to play the game on their servers. But if they close that server down or discontinue that game, if it's locked into that server, you're not going to be able to play it anymore because you technically do not own the game. You're paying for the right to play it on their server, as I read the contract agreements now. So be aware of that. If you want to ensure that you own the game, then go to Good Old Games, which is now Galaxy of Games. There's a couple of archive sites that legally distribute abandonware. And you can go in there and look at that. You can try going to the game's direct company website, and they may have it for sale there. The price that they're charging for this stuff, for what you get though, if I'd known it ahead of time, I probably would not have gotten it. It's a nice little time spender for solo, but overall for the money, you'd be paying $60 or $80 to get the full packet nowadays. And to me, for what you get, personally, I wouldn't do it. However, I will present it and let you make your own decisions. So let's move on into the game. So the first thing we're going to do is go down and do our settings. Go to our audio. We're going to turn music, all of that off, so that you can hear me. When you start, you have little worlds that you can select. Once you fill the worlds up, okay, you have to save it, or you'll reach a point to where you have to delete them to be able to make a new one. So just be aware of that. Different planets, you see that one's got red seas. That one's mostly forest. That one's desert with oceans. Alright, it's just whatever that you want. We're going to go to this one. You have to at least unlock tribal before you can go to advanced cities. And you've got to have the Spore Galaxy to be able to get into ships and go off the world. But we're just going to go the basic here. I'm going to show you the basics. We want to eventually create a omnivore because that leaves us a better opportunity for survival. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our first guy. We're going to tell it easy. We're going to call our planet Spot. You're going to get an intro. You hatch, boom, there you are. Now you can either use your keyboard or your mouse. And we're currently an herbivore, so we need to gobble up all of the green stuff. We want to avoid any meat eaters, guys with spikes, shocking tentacles, whatever. Otherwise, they can kill you and you got to start all over. I'm bigger than you. Give it here. Now, if you look at the bottom, you'll see my my growth thing. When you become a carnivore, when you eat stuff, you'll pick up DNA parts to do things like spikes and so on, as well as if you find meteor shards. So we're going to come down here. We're going to grab him. And we're just going to keep eating and growing until our little space bar down at the bottom reaches 50%. Alright, once we've reached over our 50%, we want to call a mate. And there's our mate, so we swim over to our mate. If this guy would stop trying to eat me, we do our little dance, boom, and a new life form is made. At this point, we can mutate our life form. We want him to swim a little faster, so we're going to put this here. Put a couple of more swimmers. We want to protect him. So we're going to give him spikes. Alright. At which point now we can name him. We're in the planet Spot, so he'll be Rover. There we go. Now we're a meat eater. We're going to live the rest of our life as a meat eater. Come on. As we eat little neighbors, occasionally we'll get more DNA parts to continue building our supply.